Hello, Curious Minds. I'm Miles Maxer, and welcome to the Ant Network, and welcome back to Empires of the Undergrowth. We are here with our Formicarium colony, and we are ready to explore the outer world. So we're going to send our workers up here and excavate this nest. Now, this series is called Ant Scientist Plays Empires of the Undergrowth. So if you missed our first one, make sure you go and check it out. But to recap, I'm going to be bringing my chops as an early career myrmecologist to Empires of the Undergrowth. And I'm super excited to be completing our second episode today. It turns out that we need to spend some upgrade points or royal jelly to upgrade our Formicarium colony so that we can proceed into the next mission. Now, if we go over here, Formicarium Challenge 1, it's not really clear what that's going to mean. Test the might of your Formicarium colony. Will it survive whatever the scientists have planned? This will unlock the next missions. So we're going to have to undertake Formicarium Challenge 1. But before we do that, I'd like to make some decisions about upgrading our Formicarium colony before we head into that challenge, because we definitely have enough royal jelly to do that. Now, in the previous mission, we were playing as Formica fusca, which is the black ant here, otherwise known as the black field ant, black meadow ant, etc. And in the Formicarium side of this game, we have the gene thief ants, Formica ereptor. Now, that is actually not a species that exists in the natural world, and I think within the game's story, the scientists have somehow created this species. But they can actually take on the traits and the workers of other ant species. So it makes sense to me. We're going to go ahead and acquire the black ants. We're going to spend 75 royal jelly to acquire them. All right, that leaves us with 47, and there are some other things we could potentially invest in, although most of them are more expensive. It looks like royal jelly, 40 royal jelly for aggressive brood, but that would make it so that we can't have efficient brood. Interesting. This will increase the attack damage, which makes the workers reasonable fighters. I actually think that that is probably worthwhile. So we've gone ahead and spent our royal jelly. We have 7 remaining, and let's flesh out our Formicarium colony a little bit before we go ahead and bring it into that test scenario. Coming up here into the outworld, we can see there's been a lot of food deposited for our colony, which is fantastic. We've got some beetle larvae here, an isopod running around, and we need to build up a colony that can successfully get all of this food, store it, and prepare for whatever that Formicarium challenge has in store for us. Okay, well, let's set out. We have to remember that in the Formicarium challenge, we have a limited number of spaces that we can clear out to designate as brood chambers, to use for food storage, etc. So right away, let's get a chamber set up over here, because we're going to need some more space to house our brood chambers, which should be near the queen. I assume if we have enemies attacking us, they're going to be coming up through this entrance, so this will be an area we'll want to set up to defend. As we're making these investments, I did want to bring up that we had a great helpful comment on our last video from Dino Nugget Dealer, and they were basically letting us know that when they play the game, the speed tiles don't seem to be the most economical or effective investments. And I was talking about how they were a new addition to the game, at least from my perspective in playing it a year or two ago, and wasn't sure about that. It's good to know that somebody who does play Empires of the Undergrowth says they're usually not worth the investment. And they also noted that we should usually have about 14 workers with the queen for the most efficient brood dispersal, and that's good to know. I don't know that we'll have those resources yet, but something to keep in mind for the future, no doubt about that. Okay, these are for our brood chambers, but we don't have enough food storage capability. And I'm going to go ahead and designate this area for food storage. Get these tiles out of here, and we can start collecting all of that food, and that food is what's going to allow us to designate new brood chambers and grow the colony fairly quickly. Okay, we have our new food storage chamber created. That's going to allow us to collect more food, and we'll send our workers down to get this food that is not currently collected, and then we're going to designate these brood chambers and move this along. Well, I hope everybody, at least in the northern hemisphere, is excited and getting ready for our ant season. It's sort of officially begun. We've had Prenelopus and Paris flights occurring across North America. Although, unfortunately, not here in Idaho or Montana. We don't have that species here. But very, very excited about this upcoming season. Kind of as a special treat, some information for you guys here on our second episode of Empires of the Undergrowth. I'm super excited to share that I'm actually moving down to southeastern Arizona, otherwise known as like the ant capital of North America. And I'm going to be down there for like 4 to 5 months. And hopefully we'll be able to create some awesome Ant Network content and show you some more of those ant species that are down there. If you haven't seen any of our videos from Arizona, make sure you head over and check them out. We've got some great blacklighting video. We've got a video where we actually take a look at some of the other species, both of ants and reptiles that occur in Arizona. We do that at night, and that was a pretty fun one to make. And then we also have an exploration of the Chiricahua mountain range and the ant diversity there. So if you haven't checked out our content from Arizona, make sure you do that. Looks like we are ready to make some investments here within the colony. I'm going to go ahead and designate, oops, we're out of food already. These guys are, or gals I should say, are pretty expensive.
Finally, we have the opportunity to observe multiple species within the same colony.
Okay, so we've got 4 up and coming. They'll actually take the eggs from the queen and raise them. I'm going to move them into our first organization column, whatever you want to call it, and move our queen's brigade back to the queen designator here. So let's get these Formica workers out, and then we'll use them to continue collecting the food that we need to grow our brood. All right, and we've got some big Formica workers moving along here. Fantastic. Well, let's send them out to collect some food. Obviously, we need more than 4 workers if we're going to efficiently collect all the food here in our outworld, but it's a start, and we only have 18 food right now, so we need to just get on it right away. And here they go heading right back down. They should, yep, excellent. They'll take a right, or their right, into the food storage chamber. Okay, and we will add another worker over here. And we'll just continue to grow this and prepare the colony for whatever that kind of ominous test is going to be. Oh, they have slain an isopod. Excellent. That protein will be particularly useful for the brood. Okay, and this chamber will be Formica ereptor workers. So they will be cheaper for us to produce.
The queen has begun to lay new eggs.
I believe.
We will soon have a thriving colony.
Yes, they are cheaper. Now, we did make the investment earlier in this episode to make our Formica Ereptor workers better fighters. I think that's going to prove to be a worthy investment throughout this playthrough, because we're going to be using quite a few of them within this colony, in addition to the ant species that we kind of continue to collect through our playthrough of Empires of the Undergrowth. We'll check up here above ground, or, well, within the outworld of a laboratory, but the ants think it's above ground. And we are collecting more of the weird seeds that I was remarking on in the previous episode, because, gosh, these I've never seen seeds that look like this, but they're pretty cool. Did we track down all of the living insects? No, we still have some beetle larvae up here, so we're going to have to go after them after we kind of clean up this mess of seeds up here. I assume that we're filling up our food stores. Yep, that is correct. So I'm going to make the investment to upgrade these food stores. And that upgrading seems to really help improve the capacity and make it so we don't have to have a gigantic chamber of food stores, when in reality we can actually just have a highly upgraded small one, which saves time and space, and overall is definitely a better way to manage that investment. Okay, we'll pop up there. Well, I'm going to let our ants do their thing, and we'll take a little bit, let them do that. Once we are ready to make more investments in the colony, I'll bring you guys back in here, and we'll prepare for that mission where apparently the scientists are going to be challenging our colony. Okay, we're back in the colony. Our workers have been diligently collecting food. They actually have almost maximized our storage capacity already. And I have begun just making more workers and more Formica fusca workers here to get us prepared. As many of you know, ant colonies grow relatively slowly in the wild, and sometimes even in captivity. You can give them all the resources you can imagine, get the temperature perfect, always have water available, the nest is ideal, etc. There's just some fundamental biological constraints placed upon some ant species. So I appreciate that, although Empires of the Undergrowth is certainly a sped-up version of how an ant colony develops, it's not instantaneous, and it allows for a slightly more relaxing playstyle when, at least when you're going after, collecting food, making improvements to the colony. I will say that the battles feel a little bit more intense than I expected, and I have reason to be a little nervous, apparently, for later missions, as some of our commenters have suggested, but absolutely, I'm excited to be playing this game, and it has become so much more refined over the past few years compared to earlier, so it's very exciting, and I congratulate Slug Disco on their success with Empires of the Undergrowth so far. So far, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I'm just improving our food storage capacity here because we seem to be getting kind of maximum. We're filling up, basically, and we may have to expand this a little bit to effectively collect all the food. I would like to have all of this food in storage before we end up battling, well, honestly, whatever the scientists are going to throw our way. So we've got our foraging team out here, going to have them continue to collect the food items. We can see that that collection is happening much more quickly now that our colony has grown, especially as we continue to designate more workers and more Formica fusca to that brigade that's coming out here to collect the food. It looks like we are slaughtering an isopod, and it is down and out of that game. More seed time, and we are, of course, we have filled up our food storage. So we'll make that investment now, but I don't want to overextend this investment either, because then we'll just end up having tons of food storage and no food to store it on. So it's definitely a delicate balancing act. We also want to invest a bit more into our forces, get more ants, and I want to see, can I upgrade these tiles? It would appear that I can. Nope. I spoke just barely too soon. Cannot upgrade these without going through the royal jelly upgrading process. So looks like we've got the stock Formica Fusca and a Raptor, which I think will be fine for the first mission. I sure hope it will be anyway. Let's see. Maybe down in here we can create that group of workers that Dino Nugget Dealer was talking about to supplement the original 7 that come with the Queen, and have them back there helping with the brood dispersal. So they are currently assigned to the Queen group, which will be excellent. That's exactly what we wanted. And let's take a look at how progress is going up top. Very well. We're still collecting food. And let's create some more Formica Fusca workers, because we will need them to defend the colony. We're definitely lucky that we have so many resources available for us up here in the Outworld. That's going to be critical for us. And we still really do have a lot of food. And we seem to be using up our capacity. So I'm going to just continue to invest in that. Try not to overextend it, but we need the space. Excellent. Upgrades completed. We've got over 1,000 food storage and over 1,000 food as well. So we can actually continue to expand. Oh no. We've run out of territory points. Now that's unfortunate. But we can make do. It will be just fine. We can just make this one large contingent of Formica Fusca. I don't think that'll be a big problem. Well, they seem to think that our colony is probably up to it for the first Formicarium challenge. I imagine that this will come in once we reach some kind of preordained resource cap or number. I'm going to allow us to make sure that we have all the food and investments we can make. So that also means we're going to add in those extra workers and just ensure that we are thoroughly prepared. We may not be able to collect all of the food available, and I think that'll be okay. Yeah, let's take on Formicarium Challenge 1 right now. I'm going to move our forces back into the colony for now, because I really don't know what to expect from this. And I actually got a tip from the last video. We can get our attacker defensive forces to not collect food so they don't get distracted in the heat of battle. I think that's really important. So I have disallowed gathering, but we have ensured that the ants will attack enemies. I'm going to go ahead and say I'd rather have these forces up front, this group of 10, than back here distributing brood, but we could reallocate that depending on what happens. Okay, I hope you guys are ready. Let's go ahead and do Formicarium Challenge 1. Choose difficulty. We're sticking with medium generally for this playthrough.
I think it is time we connected the outworld to the feeder colonies. I want to see how these Ereptors respond under pressure.
I will prepare the experiment.
To the feeder colonies? Are they going to come through these tubes?
With a small threat.
Connecting the Fusca colony now.
Okay.
I will let 10 through to start.
Well, they're coming in. Let's see, are we going to head them off up here? Yes, we're ready to engage, it would appear. There's a lot of activity all of a sudden here. Oh, the enemies are in the nest. Oh, okay. We have made short work of them.
And responded very quickly.
Excellent. Let's see how they handle a few more, shall we?
Introducing 20.
20?
Fusca ants.
That looks like a more intimidating force, but we can handle it. We've got 51. Bring it on. Oh, they are just running in. They haven't broken through our defenses yet, so that's good. Excellent.
Our Ereptors have neutralized the threat to their queen.
Good. Continue the experiment and let me know the results. Don't add more than 30 ants at once, though. We don't want to harm the queen.
Understood.
Okay, before they send more in, I'm going to reallocate this group of workers to replenish our brood. 40, never mind. He lied, or she lied, or he's not listening. Ereptors. Okay, I don't know what Ereptors might do, because we haven't had them against us yet. Let's see. They are just storming in.
Excellent.
We took them all out. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Well, maybe we were a little over-prepared, but I would prefer to have that. 50! No, you are not... See, if this guy's in my lab, you know... Ooh, we're going to have a difficult conversation, because this is not appropriate. Especially for these... what we've been told are like these special genetically modified ants or whatever. We would not be risking the colony. But here we go. He doesn't seem to share that point of view. Oh my.
Fascinating.
Well, we schooled that group too.
Now let's try
60. Okay, that is exactly twice as many as he was told to have in this little experiment of his. But so far, we have survived. I have no reason to think we won't continue to survive, and they aren't stealing our food, so that's good, I suppose. They're in the colony. How are we doing down here? Lots of brood on the tiles, which is good. It looks like this group has been successful in managing that. It does appear to me that the Formica Fusca are significantly better fighters than the Ereptor, which is excellent to know. Oh, they're rewarding us. Not by much, though.
Look to the surface.
Well, okay. We will be grateful for that. And we'll turn Gather back on. Wait. Wait. It's not over? Okay. Alright. I misunderstood that. Now we've got half our battalion confused and running up here, but we'll send them back into the choke point. And the enemies have entered. We can take a look right up here and see how many workers and soldiers we have active in the colony. So we're doing very well at keeping that up. At least the workers are.
An unconventional defense, yet
What?
highly effective.
What are you doing? That's not right.
Perhaps we should try reach.
Yeah, okay, she got it sorted out. Ants do weird stuff. Yikes. The attack continues. They're just streaming in. That's just a mess. I mean, I have no idea whose forces are whose. Of course, ants fighting in the wild are, they can be a lot more violent than is being depicted here. You know, pulling appendages off and spraying each other and coating each other with acid and whatnot. We won that one again. I think it made a lot of sense to invest in making our Erepta workers quite a bit stronger. I'm very comfortable with that investment after these engagements. They're throwing a lot more enemies at us than I expected. So it helps to have the workers up here with the soldiers. So, what's going on up here? Have we beat it? Or is he going to throw another wave of bad guys at us?
His ability to withstand such overwhelming assaults is incredible. I wonder, how will they handle a sustained flow of aggressive?
Oh, that's fun. I think we'll handle it just fine. Thank you, evil scientist. I don't know if he's actually a scientist, to be quite honest with you. Get them. You know, the one part about this that definitely isn't making much sense to me is that these are hypothetically different colonies in the lab. Well, they would probably start fighting each other up here on the surface before they ever went down into the nest to attack. But hey, they don't care about that opinion.
Let's make things a little more interesting.
No. Shall we not do that?
Devil's coach horse.
Oh my gosh. This is not a good situation. I'm going to add a couple more workers here because I can. These guys aren't doing anything down here, and we could use a little bit of backup up front. Well, we actually made short work of those. I continue to be impressed by this colony. The Myrmidons are rising to the challenge. What? Oh. Yeah. This guy's getting fired. If he's in my lab, this is totally inappropriate behavior. Devil's Coach Horse continues to attack us. We have successfully taken one out, and there's two more in the colony firing their weird stuff at us. They will be great food if we can take them out. Are there any more? No, just some workers. Our food stores are going down. Now we're just at about 700. We started this engagement with over 1,000 food, so not too bad, especially since we are not collecting any food at this point. So once we take down this Devil's Coach Horse, I think we will be good to go to collect the incredible amount of food that's been left for
How has
us.
the colony been responding?
They mounted an excellent defense against 20, 25, and even 30 Fuska ants, as you suggested.
Perfect.
Wow.
Perhaps we can provide more of a challenge for them next time.
What a fantastic suggestion.
No. No. Okay, well, no accountability whatsoever for that guy's misconduct. We definitely do not need extra food. We have plenty of food right now. I think we should invest in more royal jelly. That's going to continue to make the game more interesting. Fantastic. We made it through our first Formicarium challenge. There's tons of food to gather. We spent a lot of this episode gathering food, so I'm going to go ahead and conclude it here. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Ant Network and for joining us for this playthrough of Empires of the Undergrowth. I hope that you join us on our next episode. There are some really cool ecological stories that they're going to tell in the next mission. Again, thanks so much for watching, and please stay safe.